Greece, 600 BC. Crimes were increasing and Greece didn't have any written law. So, Draco of Athens took harsh steps and made written law to treat all criminals equally. According to his law, every crime was equal. Even a thief should have the death penalty. A few days later, he went to a theater to watch a show. People recognized him and started to cheer him. They were so happy with his new law that they started throwing hats and clothes at him as appreciation. The clothes and hats from hundreds of people piled up and completely buried him. He died of suffocation. Well, his death was appreciated, I guess. A century later, a painter named Zeuxis was asked to paint a portrait of an elderly woman. He was an exceptional painter who used to paint nature's beauty. He accepted the job and sat in front of his canvas. He thought for some time and started painting the woman. After he finished his painting, he stared at his painting for a few seconds. He realized that the woman in the painting looked too ridiculous. He started laughing his ass out. He was so amused by the painting that he couldn't stop laughing and died there. Some even say he's still laughing. A few decades later, in around 450 BC, the father of tragedy, Aeschylus, was standing outside his house. If you don't know, a tragedy is a genre of literature where a noble character goes against something, struggles hard, but fails or dies. It's really a tragedy. Aeschylus was told by a shaman that the roof will fall on his head and he will die today. So to avoid it, he was determined to stay all day outside the house. An eagle was flying carrying a tortoise. Eagle saw him from the sky and thought his head was a rock. To shatter the tortoise shell, it dropped the tortoise in his head. He died instantly. I guess his death was mind-blowing. Around 2 decades later, this philosopher guy, Empedocles, claimed that he was immortal and God. To prove it, he went to the mouth of the volcano and said he would jump inside the lava. Since he was immortal, he would not die and will come back after the stunt. People gathered around to see the act of God. He jumped and never came back. Legend says his followers are still waiting for his return. Around 30 years later, this 90-year-old Gramps Sophocles was ready to recite his tragedy in theater. The famous tragedian had already written more than 120 tragedies, and his best tragedy, Antigone, was the star of the show for that day. He started to recite it. He was so immersed in the tragedy that he forgot to take a pause or break to breathe. He kept reciting and reciting. To his excitement, he forgot to breathe and died. Well, we can call that a breathtaking experience for sure. This guy is Qin Shi Huang. He is a well-known guy from China. You can say he is the first emperor of the unified Chinese Empire. He is the guy who started the construction of the Great Wall of China and 8,000 terracotta warriors. He was too obsessed with immortality. He searched everywhere for a cure for death and found out from some source that mercury could make someone immortal. He mixed some mercury in his wine and drank it. Well, the source was wrong. He died on the spot. Around the same time in Greece, this Stoic philosopher named Chrysippus of Soli was in a party. He is still known as a great philosopher and a man with a great sense of humor. He was drinking his wine and looking around. On the side of a table, he saw an ass eating figs. He asked the old lady there to give it some unmixed wine, too. He found his own joke so hilarious that he started laughing. He laughed so loud that he choked and died there. There has been a lot of research, but still today people don't know what the joke was about. At around 20 AD, a politician and soldier commander, Claudius Drusus, was having a break from his work. He was playing with a pear in his hand. He tossed it in the air and tried to catch it with his mouth like we toss peanuts or grapes. But by mistake, it went directly to his throat and got stuck there. He died there of suffocation. It was 453 AD in Hungary. This guy, Attila the Hun, had just married a girl named Ildiko. Attila drank some wine with happiness, and both of them went to the room for some sexy time. The guy threw himself in bed watching his wife. She took her clothes off. Seeing how beautiful she was and how beautiful her body was, he started to nosebleed. The blood from the nose directly got into his throat, and he choked to death on the bed. I think they were not lying when they showed these in anime. It was 1159 AD in Italy. Pope Adrian IV was a pope in the Catholic Church in Papal States. In fact, he is the only Englishman to be a pope ever. It was hot weather, so he walked towards a certain fountain, and then he started drinking wine. Surprisingly, a fly flew inside his mouth and got stuck in his throat. His men tried to take it out. The doctors were called, but even they couldn't take it out. Pope suffocated and died on the scene. I don't know if this was the reason why no Englishmen were ever appointed as popes again. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any more dumb death stories, please comment below, and we will try to include that in the next video. And as always, I love you guys.